Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at headlines on the front pages of Nigerian newspapers, and I begin with the Vanguard newspaper. The major story here, tariff hike, Labour protests disconnects, the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, TCN disclose offices, says privatization of power sector colossal failure, demands complete reversal. We've heard your concerns, NERC chairman says, in responding to the move by organized labor. And we'll go back to drawing board, federal government tells labor. And there's pictures of the picketing in Abuja, Goa, Kaduna, Ikeja, of the offices of the Electricity Regulatory Commission, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, as well as distribution companies as well, their offices. Now to other stories, CBN will retain high interest rates to tame inflation. That's what Cardoso, the governor of the CBN, is saying. And then escalating public service wage bills, increasing cost of governance, Akpabio is saying. Guba polls, INEC resumes voter registration in Edo, Ondo states. At the top corner, Fubara to prove governance in last 8 years. All right, at the last story here, but I would take Tinubu directs mandatory procurement of CNG-powered vehicles by MDAs as ministries, departments, and agencies. Some of the stories you find on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. To the Nigerian Tribune now. The major story here, federal government planning tax relief for 95% of small businesses. Tax Reforms Committee chairman is quoted as saying that. And another story here, NDLEA arrests grandpa in Ekiti, grandma in Benue for illicit drug dealing, intercepts 3 truckloads of opioids, seizes 3.5 million pills, 344,000 codeine bottles. Recall that the National Assembly had agreed for capital punishment for persons transacting in illicit drugs and a period of 15 years imprisonment for those who abuse substances. Now another story here, 14 abducted Kogi University students rescued. 3 die, 21 injured in Ogun multiple road accidents. Some stories you find on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. To the Platform Times now, and Ogoni youths give federal government 7 days ultimatum to revoke 80 billion naira field cleanup contracts, demands resumption of oil exploration. And another story here. Man faces multiple charges for alleged impersonation of friend's wife. Agosasa crisis. DSS operatives storm Ogun courts with weapons, whisk away 2 defendants during proceedings. And speculation abounds as P2B holds strategic meeting with Atiku Lamido in Abuja. Some stories you find on the front page of the Platform Times. And quickly this story before I move on. Student bullied in viral video drags Abuja school to court, demands 500 million naira public apology. To the Nigerian News Direct now. Inflation, CBN will tackle interest rate to retain foreign investments. That's what Cardoso is saying. Labour shut discos offices nationwide, demand reversal of electricity tariff hike. At chieftaincy installation, Adeleke vows to transform Osun rural areas into cities. And no way to resolve our conflict, Fubara on relationship with Wike, that's what he's saying. And I have no regrets donating burial materials to my constituents, Senator Hanga is quoted as saying. We move now to the Daily Independent, still talking about electricity tariff hike protest, a power sector privatization, federal government's worst policy mistake. That's what Labour is saying. Insists on reversal of tariff hikes, says increase unacceptable, asks federal government to reverse privatization, recover assets from investors, paralyzes business activities at discos, NERC offices nationwide. Federal government promises to go back to drawing board, come up with solution. No Nigerian child will be excluded from quality education. That's what the president has said. And CSOs asks Nigerians to rise against apartheid policy in power sector. Tinubu orders MDAs to procure CNG-powered vehicles. And another story here, Obi meets Atiku Saraki Lamido over hardship faced by Nigerians. Those are some of the stories you'll find on the front page of the Daily Independent. Ibrahim.
New Telegraph is the first with me here. Fubara vows to probe Wiki's administration, moves to set up panel of inquiry. Swears a new Attorney General as pro-Fubara lawmakers swing into action, confirmed commissioner nominee. Tinubu mandates MDAs to buy CNG-powered vehicles. You see that on page 2 and 5. Federal government pushing more Nigerians into poverty, crippling businesses, NLC, TOC. And also above the masthead, you see CBN stops waivers for contraventions of forex regulations. Nigeria records $282.62 million total direct remittances in first quarter of 2024. Study discovers THC in breast milk of mothers using cannabis. Next is Leadership newspaper. 2027, Atiku, Obi, Saraki, Lamido begin alliance talks. Obi must get approval of party leadership. Papa, it's all about state of the nation. Tanko Yunusa, and it's just a mere meeting. 2024 Hajj, 428 pilgrims depart Nigeria tomorrow. Northeast residents lament total blackout. And also recapitalization, investors set for 3.894 trillion naira stake in banks. Electricity tariff hike, labor shuts down NERC, discos in states. Above the masthead, Fubara to probe past administration in Rivers. UN cries out as 360,000 flee Rafah amid Israeli offensive. Next is This Nigeria. Tariff hike, labor pickets NERC, TCN headquarters, branches nationwide. Demands complete reversal, vows not to retreat, says privatization in power sector, colossal failure. 400 detainees languishing in Kano Correctional Center, CP. Abuja farmers hail Wike's infrastructure development. NSCDC uncovers 2 illegal pipeline connection points in Rivers. Tinubu mandates MDAs to procure CNG-powered vehicles. Bans purchase of petrol-dependent vehicles as federal government plans new wage system based on workers' productivity. On the ear of the newspaper, NDLEA intercepts 3 trailer loads of opioids, seizes 3.5 million pills, 344,000 codeine bottles. Next is the Punch newspaper. Electricity tariff hike. Federal government convenes meeting as Labour threatens indefinite protest. Federal government to address Labour's complaints. Protesters storm NERC, block discos offices in states. POS operators drag CAC to court. Governor Paul. INEC resumes voter registration in Edo, Ondo. EFCC indicts Sirika brother in new 19 billion naira fraud. And on the bottom strip, federal government plans performance-based salary scheme for workers. Amotekun arrests 45 suspected criminals in Ondo. Delta mother, 16-year-old son found dead, 2 unconscious. And above the nameplate, federal government may need supplementary budgets to pay minimum wage, IMF. CBN may intervene as Naira slides to 1,478 to the dollar. Atiku, Obi initiate alliance talks ahead of 2027 polls. Next is the Guardian newspaper. Mistrust, greed, stall takeoff of new telephony licensees in 31 states. 2027, opposition party leaders to meet over mega party. 265 local vessels registered abroad as Nigeria lags in registry digitalization. NLC, TUC pickets NERC, discos offices nationwide. Obi meets Atiku, Saraki, others over Nigeria's woes. concerns as U.S. study visa refusals reach record levels in 2023. Stock investors lose 3.8 trillion naira in less than 2 months. Fubara vows to probe Wike orders panel of inquiry. Next is the Nation newspaper. FEC adopts CNG-powered vehicles for ministries, agencies. Federal government targets less use of petrol to stem rising cost of living and boost economy. Labour seeks reversal of electricity tariff increase. Fubara to raise probe panel on Wike's government. Senator Wogu. Plan is witch hunt, diversionary. Governor inaugurates commissioner screened by 3 lawmakers. INEC plans new voter registration in Edo, Ondo. Labour Party's Abure at meeting. Restructuring of NYC for future challenges starts. Finidi mounts saddle, vows rejig of Super Eagles. NFF unveils head coach. Atiku, Obi, Saraki, Lamido begin 2027 coalition talks. Productivity-based wage coming for workers. Employees on same level may earn differently. Business day is next. Weak Naira, rising inflation signal further rate hike. Telco's liquidity squeeze puts telco liquidity squeeze puts network quality at risk. Also, I better pass my neighbor. Generator turns luxury at 140,000 naira. Well, still, I better pass my neighbor like that. And last but not least is Nation Sport Alive. Finidi George vows, I won't invite bench warmers. Says, my first target is to qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Promises to put Nigeria first if, and a coach not scared of pressure. Finidi to earn $45,000 monthly. Assistance to be paid per game arrangement. Chukwueze's injury pain for Finidi. Eagle Star ruled out of the season. Suffers thigh strain to miss 3 weeks. PSG to save 200 million euros on Mbappe's exit. Guardiola warns, lose to Spurs and the title is gone. Just like the petrol subsidy. Well, that's all we have.
Interesting. Finidi George already talking tough as it is, but the concern for football lovers and the majority of Nigerians who have followed Nigerian football over the years is the matter of if he will have the freedom to do anything that he feels is in the interest of advancing football in the country, especially for the Super Eagles, as it is, because the concern has always been NFF is always, looking for persons they can manipulate to dance to their whims and caprices and all of it.
To their whims.
Yeah, so as it is, we can only hope that he, talk
delivers
or walk the talk.
Yeah, that's right.
As it is.
And it's not even a walk in the park.
Of course, it's not a walk in the park, because I'm wondering who the bench warmers are that he's talking about. Would he be bold enough to mention names? That would be interesting.
It's a matter of time, because what the fans want to see is
results.
If you don't give us the results, then Nigerians.
As it is, they call for your heads. Another thing, quickly, before we move, is that the federal government is looking at the matter of purchasing of CNG-powered vehicles by ministries, departments, and agencies. So I believe that the government wants to begin from there, setting the example. As it is.
That's right. Yeah, so that's the thing. When you say something, we want to see that you are already doing exactly what you're preaching. But the question people will be asking, okay, fine, the federal government is saying that let us do this, but what if they're on the road and they run out of gas? How will they refuel? So how much of terminals or how much of stations do we have to tank up?
So by now we should have had those terminals. But with the way we spoke about this, Nigerians were expecting that we would have had those terminals across the country right now. So I think that it is for them to sit up and ensure that we have those terminals, as you are looking forward to ensuring that you buy vehicles that are powered by compressed natural gas, as it is, so that you won't be stranded on the road.
I know we have one very close to our station here, Jimo Balogun. There is also one along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. That is in Mowe or so.
But they are not, a majority of them are not around this axis.
So you push your car there now when you
all the way from...
you can't carry CNG cylinder.
They should have some stations in Abuja as it is, but the more we are talking about these things, it's important that we walk the talk, because Nigerians are already asking questions. The price of petrol hasn't dropped as it is, and we have been saying this is the way to go if we want to slash down the cost of petrol.
I think most of these vehicles are hybrid. You know, some of them can actually switch from CNG to petrol, you know, the way I had it. So I think there's no way. You probably may not run out of gas. There will always be a way to get...
Well, I like the fact that you're worried for them, but let's see. For
us. It's all of us. It's not just the government, because this is something that we called for.
It seems like they want to begin
Yes,
from
someone
them.
must set the pace and then others will follow.
So let them do the needful as it is. All right, after the break, we will be discussing Africa Economic Forum and its benefit for Nigerians. Stay with us.